This is another job that is a pain in the ass. Yes, I said ass. Got to get those two switches back to there. Got to get those other two switches you just can't see to there. Have to get the jack plug to the back, and you can't put your hand in. And you also have to get the earth wire to where the tremolo arm is. So there are several ways that people say on the internet how to do this. I've read them in the past. Surgical tubing, blah blah blah. Easy peasy. There's no such thing as an easy way. I don't have surgical tubing, so I'm using cable. And the cable, it's a multi-core cable. It's just spare stuff that I have. Cable is held to the switch by what do you call that? I can't remember the bloody name of it anyway, but the stuff you heat up, right? But that's not enough to heat it up. You have to put a little touch of super glue there and a little touch of super glue there, right? And then it gets pulled through, right? Okay. The earth wire to the tremolo arm is soldered to another piece of copper wire, just in case it's not long enough. And everything's quite delicate. I've checked all the soldering. This is the last chance you have of making sure you've done your wiring right. All these bits of blue tape and all, they're not really important. They can fall off later on, which is what I'm hoping they will do. But this is an old jack plug that I can put the nut over when I pull it through. And that I've also put a bit of Gorilla Tape on the jack plug so it doesn't pull through. I don't expect to be pulling too hard, but this is fiddly, and I'm going to start it now. I don't think there's anything else I told you, so it has to be done a little bit at a time. Jack plug, pull through at the same time. I'm going to put the jack plug in the body. The only other thing you have to make sure you get all your cables exactly right, because if this gets caught up in that and that gets caught up in that. The capacitor on this one has got long legs. The original capacitor, so I put a little bit of Gorilla Tape around it in case it bent and the legs twisted and caught each other, because I don't want to have to go through this all again rewiring it. So don't pull hard on anything. The fun part is not this. The fun part will be when you get to the edge and you've got a thing like that and you've got to bend it upwards. That's when you're putting the stress on the connection, the ad hoc connection you've made at the moment. Oh, and one of the other things is make sure you put your washers on before you put them in, because you won't get the chance to put them on afterwards. Okay, let me just concentrate on doing this now. And I'm forcing nothing. If I have to force it, then there's a problem. Right, okay. That's a very bad habit I have of saying right, okay. And see, it's the easy way. Easy way. I want to hear people tell me there's an easy way to do this, because I've done this a lot of times and the word easy doesn't come into the vocabulary. Right, there's the jack plug right there. So we got the jack plug through. The earth wire I'm pulling through a little bit, no pressure. And this, now I've kept that taped to there because I don't need it to be falling in, and that. Now I think I'm right up against it, and I think I'm right up against it there. So you can see why I've left some extra wire. Now I'm going to concentrate on this one to see if I can turn it round. Actually, I'll do the back one first to see if I can turn it round. Right, so far, right, there's one. And ooh, that's two. Right, okay. That's 2. Now let's see if we can get the earth wire to come through. I am not fussy if it doesn't, because I'll clip it and do it there, so I'm not going to force it. I don't want to break the solder connection. Okay, so now we have washers to go on, and the washers will go on the cable like that, like so, and hopefully they'll go on over the top of this. It was fussy to get it on, I must tell you. The super glue didn't want to stick to the switch. I tried that, you know, the little groove in the switch. I tried that, it didn't work. Right, now that's not going to go on over, so I'm going to have to find a way to get this off and hold it at the same time. So let me put pressure on that and pull this off. Right. Is that you? Is that you? That is you! That is you. Now that is 1. I'm not going to tighten it too tight because I may have to take it off again if the other ones screw me up the way that did. Right, okay. So, this one. Be nicer than that other one, was it? Or you just making, I don't think this will go on over the plastic either, no, but the washer will. Right, so same thing again. Oh, look at that, that's even easier. Right. Love you, love you. Right, okay. Now, the earth wire is connected to this switch, and I'm going to just tighten that down a bit more. These two haven't been connected yet. What have we got here? Let me I don't think I'm out of the woods just yet. Let me just see. Why am I not out of the woods over here? Let me just let you see what I'm seeing. That should have pulled through, but something's holding it back. It could be the washer on it is caught up on the bolts. Right, okay. So, right, okay. I'm not happy. Fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. Tell me there's an easy way and I'll do it. Taking the back off is the easiest way. That's not easy. Right, okay. Come on, you. Get on there. Fiddle, 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 fiddle. Right, that's it. Right, but why is there no washer there? If I put a washer on there, but then I'm stuck with the same problem that when I tighten this up, there's nothing to catch it, but I don't like it. So it's coming off. It's coming off. Something's just not smelling right to me. I've got lots of these, but none of these fit. And what it needs to do is fit around the bottom base there. Okay, I'm off pausing and then I'm going to look at my collection. Right, I found a rusty old bugger. Well, a corroded, he's not that rusty. And I stuck him on there, so I'm going to try to pull this through again. It's going to be fun getting the washer on though, because I do know that that's adding length to the thing. So, yeah, right, okay. Ooh, am I being lucky? Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Right, now, I just want to get a little bit more to it before I put the right, okay, right. okay. I'm afraid to tighten it because I might be tempting fate by tightening it, but it needs to be tightened so it doesn't spin around. Alex to you, love. Right, so it is moving around still. Come on, catch. Let me see if I can get my finger. No, I can't. I know I can. That's it, starting to catch. It is turning the wire around, but I've got lots of wire. Ah, right. Okay. I got lots of wire in there. It doesn't matter if it twists around because it's just wire and it's not pulling against any of the switches. I'm trying to jerk it to make sure it catches. Right, it's not tightening the way I want it to. So let me see if I can push that in, turn it, pull that to me, use a pair of snib nose pliers. So I'm putting pressure sideways on this. Alright, I'm happy with that. That's happy. Right, okay, tidy up. The other two switches to the back, to there, or is my next stage putting that switch on? My next stage, what is my next stage? Blah, da, 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 ba, da, ba. I can get my finger in there, so it has to be, to give myself room, it has to be those. But I'm going to have to work on them and getting the tubing put in. Tubing? Do I sound American there? Tubing? So, little spot of super glue, and then I heat it up. Little spot of super glue, and then I heat up the shrink tubing, and then this little more room there I can get my finger in, so that should be okay. And then I finally do it with, hopefully, where's the blue tape? I'll get it in a second. Hopefully none of the wiring has gone out of shape or anything, but I'm pretty sure it's, oh, I'll need to do that. You see what I was saying about the legs? I'll need to put a bit of tape around that so that the legs don't twist and fold themselves. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll do this, because there's nothing more challenging in this, because you've seen how challenging it is there. So I think what I'll do is I'll finish it off and then come back to you when it's all in place. Well, if I've bored you so far, I might as well bore you to death. Let's just put the rest through now and see if it all goes according to my cunning plan. Please go through to my... Have I put these on the wrong one? Oh, no, I haven't. I thought I'd put them on the wrong cables. But I haven't. Why are you pulling everything through? Hold on a second. I put them on the wrong cable. That's supposed to go on there and that's supposed to go on there. Back in a second. I'll never be a YouTube sensation. Me and my young youth age. Let's just try this now with the right thing on the right bloody thing. Bloody. But still have patience. I put a little bit of black tape on there, by the way. You didn't see earlier when I put it all together, I forgot to put the washer on. You see, these things are sent to try us when you're stupid. Are you seeing the top of my bald head? No, you're not. Lucky you. Right, okay. I'm not forcing anything. It's all being done gently. There's a little piece of wood there holding up the top, which is an excellent idea, and I've just got to finagle my way around that, which I think I have done. Make sure the pickups are not causing any undue pressure on the wiring. Let's just see. Right, okay. Right, you can come here. Right, that's one through. So there's a little bit of tension on this one, which I don't want. Why does that fit? Ah, right. The actual little star-shaped washer was caught. Right, okay. Right, now, you don't want to see me putting the washers on, do you? Do you? Do you, punk? No, I'll put that all back together. That's the hard part. All right. Yeah, that is the hard part. So the rest of it, once I put the washers on, will be fairly easy. Those are tight now. I'm going to put the... I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to put the camera on when I go to test it. Oh, if there's a little wire broken there or twisted or anything out there, I have to take the whole bloody thing out again. But anyway, let's have fun. All right, cheers. See you later. Okay, I'm going to put the amplifier on and test this. These are only on loose. Those are on tight, but and that's only on slightly loose. But the thing is to test it and pray. Well, I'm not a prayer, but fingers crossed. Something buzzing away here in my amplifier, and the volume's way down low. Oh, the gain on the overdrive is way up high. Shouldn't be. Let me just... So, fingers crossed. Right, let's just test this now. Where's my little tester, Rooney? There it is there. Pick up that middle, right. Tone right off. Oh, volume right off, sorry, my mistake. Tone off, tone off. Yeah, that works. Yeah, works. Volume. Right. Now, switch, front, volume on. Down, back. Right, okay. So I'll have to make sure the switch is right. So, the wiring's okay. Okay, after all that finagling, what I need to do is make sure the switch is the right way around when I tighten it. The only thing I couldn't find, let me put the amp off. Not that you're interested in what I couldn't find, but this here didn't have a washer beneath it. And I need to find a washer that size because I want... Oh, do I say washer strangely? I sound strange to my vocabulary. I need to find a washer to go under there because I think it had one. That thing was on it, but that's no good because that rips the... So it needs to be a plain washer. But I think I may have in my stash somewhere. And maybe I might not have in my stash anywhere. Anyway, that's that. Now, I can't do the binding because the binding is the wrong size, so there's some binding order. It'll be 2 weeks before it, but I'm going to actually put this guitar together and do some body work and polishing, and the binding will go on last. Okay, going to do another test on the electrics. As you can see, everything is put back together, and that's me crackling. Perfect, fine, grand. The electrics are all working well. What I've done since you were sleeping is that I have put plastic on the back of each side of the screws. I put hard plastic, which is this stuff here. I clipped away pieces of hard plastic, 4 of them, and I super glued them in there, and in there, and in there, on all 4. Also, I sealed this crack with super glue, and it seems to be holding up nicely now. So that's what I've done there, and to because that was all rough, I put a little layer of yacht varnish just on it, just to bring back that sheen. It's not quite, actually yacht varnish, you just put it on your thumb and you rub it across. It's brilliant stuff. And then you use a bit of tissue and just wipe it away, and it leaves a sort of little sheen. You'll never get that 100% right, but that's beside the point. Knobs back on, as you see. Each of the screws, because there's only that much body holding the screws on, I dipped each of the screws in wood glue. These here, not these obviously, not those. What else have I done? Right, I put a little pad of non-slip underneath that just to stop it thumping. I'm going to tape that down now, because the next job I'm going to do, I don't want this flapping about in the breeze. Right, where have we been? I've put the neck back on. The neck now is perfectly in line with the tailpiece. These are not quite perfectly in line. They're slightly off to the side, but not much I can do about that. What I did to get the neck straight, by the way, is I drilled a hole right through the middle and put in 1 screw through the middle, and that allowed me to hold it in position while I twisted the neck to the right place. And once I got it in the right place and marked it up with my rusty ruler, like that, I could put that right down the neck and get it perfectly straight. Then when I tightened up that 1 screw, I was able to mark the positions and drill and put in the screws in the right place. Now the other thing I've got to do now is that that's on. The bridge, someone in their wisdom, looks like they put glue or something on the bottom of that, and that means it's sliding about all over the place. I think there's a bit of felt beneath there which doesn't slide as much. So what I'm going to do is scrape off that glue, get this bridge in position. If I can't scrape off that glue, I'm going to take the felt off altogether and actually stick, maybe not stick, but just put a little piece of anti-slip on it. So I'm going to try to scrape the glue off that and get the strings on now, and I'll come back. Well, no, sorry. I'm going to scrape the glue off that, and then I'm going to do the neck. The neck is perfectly straight. It's perfectly in line where I want the bridge to be now, so it's not high anymore. Let me just show you. You see, it's just above the bridge, which is where I want it. That means I can adjust this now up and down. I don't think I'm going to have to do much of that anyway, but it means I have some room to play. Rather than, I can't go down anymore, but I can come up a bit, and I'll worry about that when the time comes. But I'm just going to, these frets are actually very good. I'm just going to polish them, tidy them. The nut came off. It's a bone nut, so I'm going to clean it up. Somebody glued it. You see how messy they glued it on. But anyway, I'll clean that up, see what it does. It is a bone nut. Put it back on, get the frets polished up, and I'll polish the frets on camera, but I'll need to move the camera. I think I'm going to speed this up. And now for my favorite part. Don't know why it's my favorite part, but it is. Oh, that's right, I'm going to take off those things, but we'll do that later then. We'll give it a good clean later. because I'm going to take off the pegs. I'll do that on camera later. All right. Right, that's the fretboard dry. Now as I look closer, I put 2 pairs of glasses on. Can you see there? That looks like a little black mark. It's not. The fretboard's actually come away at the very top. And it's also come away there. So that means I'm going to have to scrape that, clean that. I flexed it and it does open up. So I'm going to flex that, clean that, and then glue that. I don't think you can you see any movement there when I press it? I don't think you can. But anyway, that's going to take 2 days to dry. So I'm going to do that last. And I have to still wait for the purfling or the trim to come. The trim is got a lot of little areas that are problematic. I'm going to have to tidy them up. There's not a lot I can do about them. There's coming away there. That's loose from it, but and there's coming away a little bit there. But there's not a lot I can do about them. Finally, I decided not to plug those holes. I filled them, and I'll fill them again and then colour them. I probably will get the chappie who owns this chappie that owns this guitar to get a strap that goes around the neck, you know, one of the string ones that can buckle on the back, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, so obviously it's not going to hold very well, and so better just to get a different strap instead of damaging the thing all the time. So I've got to colour those up, fill them up a bit more, colour them up, and then it'll be a lot better job anyway. Alright, back again. So I thought, let's hide a few sins. And then I thought, why not make the sins a feature? Not too much of a feature, but a feature. Overall, I think it hides a lot of sins because there's a damage there, and it hides that. And it gives it a touch of style. A better idea of what the fretboard loose at the top, and I've got a screwdriver in there. I've cleaned it out with a Stanley knife and a little bit of sandpaper, and now, excuse me, it's falling off, and now I'm going to just put some glue in there and a couple of clamps on it and leave it, and then while it's drying with the clamps on, I'm going to do some cleaning and tidying and decoration. Writing, I'm blinging it up a bit to hide some mischief. I've put the little, I'm not going to call this steampunk because it's just little decorations. It hides the fact that one of the knobs is a different colour, but it also gives it a bit of a bling. The pick guards were cracked and damaged, so I put those little gears over the top of them. The screwdriver can still fit inside and adjust the pickup height. I was going to screw them on, but it didn't look practical. And finally I did that there, and I've painted and decorated the head. But also, as you can see, I've glued the fretboard down with a bendy bit of board to make sure that it's bending down on both sides. So literally that's just blinging tonight. Blinging. It's actually not a gaudy bling, it's just a sort of a subtle bling to hide some sins, because that was a mess, that was awful looking, but that just sort of hides that. Okay. I've taken off the pegs, I filled in all the holes with wood, and I put a little, I've actually sanded it, and then put a little layer of yacht varnish. Yacht varnish is my new favourite tool, because you can rub it on with a firm kitchen towel and then polish it, and then it comes up shiny, lovely. Now I'm going to put a drop of super glue in here. I've also, as you noticed, I glued in there, and I've yacht varnished it down the sides too, which will go hard in a day or so, very hard. And now I'm going to do the super glue in there, and I'll show you it on the other camera. A rookie mistake. You'd think that the nice rounded part would be at the top and the square ugly bit would be at the bottom. But no, I should have tested it first. The square part has to go to the top and the rounded bit to the bottom. Well, I have a purring cat on my shoulder, so she does, like, if I'm standing doing the bench, she loves to get up on my shoulder. I can't see myself, or if you can even see her. But anyway, you might be asking, what difference does it make which way it's up? It makes a difference in how you turn the tuners. If you had it the other way around, you'd be thinking you're tuning something upwards and it'd be going downwards. So it's a simple thing. So I've had to fill in the 2 holes I made and peg them, and then when I put a little bit of stain on them, they'll disappear a bit. But that's that done now. I'm going to stick some strings on it. All right, Georgie girl. Up on my shoulder all the time. What on earth are you doing, Austin? These are my glasses, cleaning wipes, and I'm setting them on the neck because the rigid, you know, this pattern on the yoga mat, which I'm using, it retains the focus. So if I put something dead in the center, the focus will stay there. Now there is a ding on the other side of that, so I'll do those 3. Someone has in the past put a little drop of super glue in them, but they've left it hollow, and I don't know why they did that, because it's the feel of the neck's most important when you're playing, not just the appearance. Now I'm not going to scrape down and go any further down in there to try to make them disappear, because they won't disappear. It's just not going to happen. So what I'm going to do is make them more playable. My intention with this guitar is to get it completely finished, because the binding's not going to come for a week or 2. So I'm going to get it completely finished and do a demo and close the video down when it's finished, because no point in waiting for binding, because all I'm going to do is stick on some binding, and nobody wants to see that. I said, and nobody wants to see that. Are we in focus there? Did you get in focus? I think you did, didn't you? Anyway, leave it at that. Okay, bye. Okay, you guys and gals, this is the final video of this before it goes into storage for a month or so. I don't think there'll be another video. It has been set up and it's now looking very smart. New tuners, new nut. I moved the truss rod cover, put on a little bit of bling, did the frets the whole way down, worked extensively on the wiring and the pickups and just done it. Now I did say I would come back to you whenever, let me just sit down here, whenever I was going to put the strings on. And I made a video of putting the strings on and putting on the bridge and everything, and can I find it? I cannot find it. So I'm going to play a little bit just to end it, and I'm sorry about that. Brand new strings, so forgive it if it's out of tune, if it goes out of tune. Pickups adjusted, bridge adjusted, end piece adjusted, everything. So it's just it's playing nicely now, and it looks super. I think it looks like a really super guitar now. It's going to have to go away into storage to get the purfling or the trim put on it, and that's going to take a few weeks to come through again. So I just let you see the end of this guitar. Not the most powerful of pickups. This amplifier would blast you away at this volume normally, but these pickups aren't the greatest. But I still think this is worth at least 300 quid. Away we go. So it's going away. It'll be back with its owners very shortly. There you go. Say goodbye to it. An Aria, and I'll put the model number on it. Somebody suggests I put the model on everything, and I think I should. So I will do that. So say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.